Hello, this is Heiko from Atomics. I'm here at the Virtual DJ booth in Hall 5.1 at the Music trade show in Germany, in Frankfurt. This is a preview of version 8 alpha version for digital DJ tips. So I show you all the new features and all the new stuff I can show you actually, because it's not fully finished, so there's still parts in development, still not finished, and main features are still missing, but we have many stuff, so I show you some of them. So at the first look of Virtual DJ you would say, okay, it looks very similar to the old version. It's because of the skin, because it's the basic skin, we just do some tweakings, because it's our CI, so it's a corporate identity to have this skin, yeah. But there are many skins for downloading in the homepage, so you can create your own thing, yeah, with preview or without video preview. If you just do audio, then use another skin if you like it. Okay, anyway, what's new in the new version? We did some improvements you can see, some you can't see. So I show you one you can see. It's the resizing of the screen. And the important or interesting part is that you see all the jogs are still round if you scale them. So the old version 7 has a small problem. If you scale them too much, they will a little bit of distorted and everything looks not so beautiful. So it's much better in the new version. Also, it's full DirectX support, so it's much faster than the old engine. Another thing you don't see is the new sound engine. We will have a completely rewritten sound engine, which is much better than the old one. It has a full support of 32 bits, not 24, it's 32 bits. And we will have a resolution up to 192 kilobit, and you can change the frequency just from 44.1 to 48 to 96 or whatever, but I don't think that you get any DJ card with 96 or more, so actually that's not the point. It looks very small actually, because someone changed the font size. If I show you, it's very small, so we should change a little. So may I just press the hotkey and just can adjust the size so it's better to see, yeah. Okay, so what changed in the new version? We have some drag and drop stuff, so we can just drag and drop the rows in the browser section, yeah. The rest is nearly the same with some little improvements on the right side. There are much more stuff like sampler and effects, so we changed the position. And here's a new button, It's.com timeline, so I show you later. I would say let's start with the main setup of the software, because I need to configure the controller at first, because I'm not sure if it's already done. So I go to the config area and jump to the sound setup. Okay, if you see it here, everything's ready. So we have the master and the headphone channel, it's on the Pioneer, and we have the channel selection, so everything's ready to go, yeah. No need for configuration, but anyway, it's very simple. So if I just make a click and say no headphone, then I just get one audio sound card for the master channel. If I say headphone setup, then automatically it selects me both channels. And if I say I want to have an external mixer, it just switches to deck 1 and deck 2 on two separate stereo channels. So it's very easy to set up. Also, you can do a microphone activation just by a click, and it say, okay, you need another sound card input for the microphone. So that's pretty cool stuff. Also, as it recognizes the controller, there's something like a built-in intelligence. So if it knows, okay, it's a device, whatever, it's a VCI 400, so the software knows there is a sound card, it has 4 channels, and it do default setup for you just by clicking it, the setup. So it's pretty cool. Timecode is actually not implemented, but it will be much more improvement there, because we will get a complete new timecode software part. So the complete software on the timecode engine is rebuilt in the new version 8. So stay tuned for it. It will be nice, I would say. Okay. Anyway, what's new too? You can save configurations with its own preset name. So if you have different sound cards, different controllers, or different sound setups in any kind, you just have to save your own preset with a special name. Like, this is my audio setup for the NS6, my audio setup for my Vestax, or my audio setup for my Pioneer controller. So it's pretty cool if you have different stuff, or you have something in the club you're playing. So you just need to load your audio preset. in the skin section there's not much improvement. It's a little bit more structured, and you have a preview window, so you see which skin you get. So if I go to the last one, you see the difference. So it's just another skin, other style, and maybe I have 2 or 3 different skins, one for the audio mixing, one for the video things, and one for karaoke or whatever. So it's pretty cool because you see what you get. You don't have to try every skin you have, because maybe you have 50 or whatever, so there are much in the download area. Okay, go to the controller section, because it's one of the things that changed much. We still have the selection for the keyboard and for all detected devices. So let me switch to the controller to show you something. First of all, I will remove this because it's not the default. So we always have the default setup, the default setting for the controller loaded in the first startup of the software. And when you change something in the configuration, like let me do a small tweaking. I just change the loop to loop 4-beat, just to see and show the difference. So if you take a look here, change to custom mapping. So it says, okay, you change something, so it's any kind of changing, it's custom. So the factory is still there, you can just click it. So you see you can also have different kind of setups for the mapping. That's also important if you do different kind of stuff. So like the audio section, if we take a look on the controller, I use the Pioneer here. I have many buttons here, yeah. So what I can do, if I make audio action, I have something like the looping here and maybe the hotkeys. But if I do video action, I don't need any whatever loopings or so. So I use these buttons for video effects or for transitions, to change them or switch from one to each other. So in karaoke, maybe I have some samples like yeah, boo, applause or whatever. Hey, please, I need the next singer, something like that. And it's just done by just creating your own mapping, saving it to a file. And let me say I save it with the name test, yeah. And if I save it, and then I can just re-enable it just by a click, and I have all my settings there with my changed loop 4 instead of the normal loop at that point. Okay, what else changed? The deck selection. If you have more than one controller, you see it's much easier because you have the list. You click the controller and say, okay, please use deck 1, 2, use deck 3, 4. This part is still in development, so you see nothing there actually. But in the final version, you will have the selection for the specific deck. Okay, what else? Let me use just this because I want to show you how the new engine works. So I just remove it, and let me say I want to have a play action on that button. So I know I want to do something with the transport control, like playing. Then I can go to the control section. It's the audio control section, yeah, because we group them, the actions of the script language together in groups, like we have it in the old version 5. Some of you may remember that. So it's pretty easy because we have so much stuff, it's too much to give it just in one list. So what we can do, back to our example, I just remove this and say I want something with play, but I'm not sure which action I have. And if you see play stutter, then it does one thing. So here will be the description, what's the difference between the single actions. So, and I just can flip from one to each other. As you see, there is one missing, it's not in the list. The 3 button is not here in the list, so this is still in development. But you can switch between the different actions, so it's pretty easy because it's auto completing and you don't have to search everything by your own. Also, you can do a click and use some part of the software. I'm not sure if it works, I try it. Yeah, okay. So it says deck 1 sync because I clicked the sync of deck 1, so it's pretty easy, like in the old version 7 also. Okay, let me remove that because I don't need it. It's custom mapping 1, just delete it here. And the other one too, because I just want to have the factory default. Another cool thing is many controllers have much buttons to turn, knobs to press. You can move the jogs, you have faders and everything, and they have a shift button. Some of them use the shift button as a normal button, some of them came up with different MIDI actions if you press a button, so it's different. So the easiest way to see which button I added is just to go to the key learn, click there, and then go to the controller section and just press a button. I press a button. I press the play, the Q, and then the shift. And if you go here and then see, I press play, I press Q. The shift is not recognized. It's because the shift is not a MIDI function. It does change the controller. So if I hold the shift and press the play again and then again the Q, you see I get different action. It's another action, it's another button, like it sends another MIDI note. So it's pretty cool because you can find things very easily. Okay, let's jump to another thing. The option is still not there, it's in development. Also the macro part, maybe we remove it and call it in another way and put it on the decks, it's not sure. Recording, okay, what you expect, you can record in audio and video format in different. Also we will have some kind of broadcasting section, but it's also still in development. Another very important part is the advanced configuration of Virtual DJ. Many of the tweaking features for scratch DJs and for latency things and everything you can do in the registry, like fader start and whatever. So we just removed every stuff we have in the registry, nearly everything, we removed from there and put it in a single XML file. So you can edit everything from here just by clicking and changing it, because it's easier for the users, and also you can do a copy of it to your notebook and have all the same settings you have on your main computer. So it's pretty cool to just take over the settings. Okay, I show you just a few because there are many of them. As you see at the top, here's the sample rate. So if I say it's 48, then it's 48 kilohertz. So it's very easy to change, but you cannot do it in live mode because you cannot say, okay, my card is working like that and with the next track working like that. Doesn't make sense, but you can change it here if you like before you start your set. Okay, what else? You can change the EQ frequency. So if you have the mid frequency of 2500 and you say, okay, it's too high or it's low, you just change it, and then you have the point you say, okay, that matches best for my mixing style and for my kind of artwork. Okay, just one thing left I want to show you. There's some search in multiple fields. It's defaultly, I think it's disabled, but I enabled it earlier, so you see it as enabled. So this is one you should try because it changes the behavior of the sounds, the search engine. I show you later. So you see there's much more stuff, but I don't show it in detail because many things are still not finished. Okay, if you go to the search action, and I can search in different fields. So it's very small. I'm not sure someone changed something in the resolution. But you see all the texts are normal size. Maybe it's also a problem in the graphical interface, so we need to have a look at that in the development phase. I activate all my fields. I want to search like genre, comment, file path, artist, title, so this should fit for the moment. So let me do a search, for example, for house. It's very small, I'm not sure if you can really see it. Okay. We tried, okay, so I try to search for house, so I get all songs with house in the artist or in the title or whatever, but it's too much for me, because I search a special song of the House Rockers, so here's the name, also the genre, but it does not matter. If they were called house whatever, I can tip whatever and I would also find them. Okay, let me say, we don't have only 4, maybe we have 20 remixes of the same song, and I want a John Char remix. So then just type John, and then I can be sure that I get the correct hit. So it does not make any difference if you type Rocker John House or change it any kind how you remember them. So you can do it like you expect it to do, yeah. And it's pretty cool and very easy to handle. Okay, now let's show me some working stuff. So just drag and drop one of the songs. You see the cover art. It's a little bit of graphics thing. Also you can do the cover art within the skin. It's not implemented actually in this skin, but it can be done later, so we can place it on the corner, and there you have your cover art in the skin, so you see it if you have one. Okay, as you see, we have colored waveforms. We changed it with version 8 because there are so many requests of the community, and we hear about what they are saying, so we changed it because it doesn't matter, because it's a complete full reprogramming of the software. So we do it, and also in the scratch wave you can see, let me go to the middle of the song, you can see there's much improvement because I can just scale it with my mouse wheel. So I scale it to the size I want to have it, yeah, just by scrolling up and down with the mouse wheel, and say, okay, that's match for me. So if I start it, it's smooth scrolling, very cool stuff, and if I do some scratching or whatever, then I have a very cool side of the beat. So pretty cool thing. Let me show you next the most important thing that changed for many. That's the effect section, because we do so much improvement there, and we will also have much more effects than in the old version. But even all the old effects will be working in the new version when it's released. So don't worry about this. Maybe one or two which are too old, but the most parts should work. So I have the normal window, but it looks a little bit different because it's something like a tree size. So it's very easy to create your own folder within the plugin section for the audio effects or for the video effects, and group similar effects to one folder. So like I have 5 flanger effects. They are all a little bit different. Sometimes I use the first one, sometimes another. So I can group them, and it's easier to handle it. If I'm doing a gig with many effect activation and deactivation, it's too complicated by just clicking activate, deactivate, like in the old version, just by clicking here. So what you can do is you just click on this pin and float up the window and turn it somewhere in the screen where you have the place for it. And now you see all the stuff like activating or deactivating directly on the screen without any scrolling action. So it's pretty cool, even if you have a big screen like I have here. So don't blame me for the Macs with Windows. It's just because the alpha version were very short before the show, and we plan to do version 7 on Mac on the computers, and then we get the alpha version, but it's only developed actually on PC, so we use Bootcamp to show it here. So even we couldn't show anything, so we said, okay, come on, because everything is booked, we cannot change it in that short time. Okay, you see, I have all my effects, so if I have many video and audio effects, it's much in the list. Maybe that's too much because I just do audio stuff. Then there's another button. Let me say I want to have the echo, the flanger and the loop roll just to use them. Then we can show it a little bit more here. There's an effect section. So take a look here. While I click the button, you see I float my effect echo to this area, like the flanger. Let me do the flanger and the loop roll too. And now I can close my deck effects for deck 1 just because I just want to have these 3 effects. Now you see you have the small effects here. Let me move this aside. You see it's pretty cool because you see all the movement faders. So if you use external controller like a pad controller or some with sliders, you can see every position directly on the screen. But if you have many effects in that kind, it will be too complicated because the browser shrinks a little each time you put an effect there, and if it's like that, you cannot work because of the much effect. So the development team also thinks about that, so we can float these windows also in very small ones and move them somewhere on the desktop or on the second screen if you have. So it's pretty cool stuff because it no longer depends on the main screen, and you can organize it the way you like. Okay, I think this should match for the should fit for the effect section. I would like to show you the new sampler because we improved it much. It's no longer the part with the audio mixer like style. You have different banks for the samples, so you can have a bank for default samples. All samples could have buttons, they don't need them. It's not final, so maybe we'll change something there, and then don't have to be that size. You can drag them together, so it's just an easier way to recognize some stuff. If you have a special logo for the drum parts, a special one for the vocals, so it's easier to handle it if you have an external controller and use it to fire up all these samples. The most important new feature is the whole sampler is audio and video compatible. So you also can do video stuff. So I created a group for video, and when I started, I just moved the video window a bit, so you see it. It's just a loop. I don't look at the beat and if it's nice. It's just to show you can do video stuff too. Okay, I can activate and deactivate it. What else? I can change the behavior of the sample. So this is pretty cool, because I select my bank and I select the sample I want to change or edit, and I can say, okay, it's just a drop. It's a jingle. I want to show it once or twice in my show. I have a loop, so it has to be looped, also for the video stuff too. And then I can do some tweakings with it, like sync lock, so it's always in sync with the main track you're playing on the decks, or it's only sync start. When I play vocals, it does not make sense, because if I do some scratching action on the main deck, I want to stay that in the same sync, not in the same sync, because the loop would scratch also. That does not make sense. So then you have the pitched option, so for vocals you just pitch it in the right position, but there is no synchronization or anything. So if you press the button for the sample, then it just came out of the speakers, because you're artists and you decide where to play your samples, so does not make sense. And flat means just, okay, play it like it is. Here you can get the image for a loop. Here you can group loops. I show you with the audio parts. Another nice thing is you can activate or deactivate the audio section of loops. So if I have video loops, sometimes I don't want the audio part. I just want to have a cool video snippet to use it for other stuff, or for background action or whatever, or if I play some audio material without video, so I use parts of other videos. What I can do is I can pick up a position just by moving the mouse. You see a little movement here, so it's just very short, but you can see there is some movement. So it's my preview, and now click the transparency and pick a color on the right side, like the blue one. And then I can do the blue color transparent. So if I have something, for example, I have my own DJ logo. I create it as a video loop on a green background. And then I click the green color and say make this transparent. Then I have a transparent DJ logo, floating, wobbling, rotating, whatever. And I just go there and scale it and have something like my own MTV logo animated. So it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, jump to the audio part, because it's less to show. The video part has some more features. In the audio section, the same as in video, you can scale the sample like 2 or 4 beats or the whole length. Also the gaining for the audio material and the syncing. And there I can show you the instrument line. Maybe we call it grouping or whatever later in the final version. You can group things together. Let me define the first and the third sample are both drum loops, just for this demonstration. So I call them in the group test. Just to have a group, I call the group, I don't know, Mike, if I like, or whatever. But whatever is too long to type now. So I just take the bongo, the third one, and put it in the same group. So now I have the first and the third in the same group test. All the other stuff has no group. Okay, what can I do with it? I press the bass drum, the first loop is running. I do some stuff with vocals or whatever, effects and everything. Yeah, oh, there's one is deleted, someone deleted one of my samples. Okay, and then I want to switch from the first drum loop to the third. So if I press the third one, the grouping makes the sound switch from the first to the third. I show you. So you don't need to press 2 buttons to stop this and start the next. So that's grouping. Another thing is they are all in the correct position of the beat. So if this, you see, this is much slower than the first one, because it's more it has maybe it has 1 minute, and this one is just 10 seconds. Yeah. So if I click this, then it takes the position in the beat from the actually playing song, from the actual playing grouped sample, and starts at the same point, so it's still in beat. You don't start from the 1, because when I'm at beat 3 and hit at the wrong point, then it does not sound very cool. So that's a new sampler. I think many new stuff here also. So let me show you the last very, very big and very new and long-awaited feature, the timeline mode. If I click on timeline, I get a different view on the top. You see I can scroll in just with a mouse wheel again, or scroll there and move it, and can add decks or remove decks if I like. It's still hardly in development, so don't blame me if there is a crash or if it's not working correctly actually, because there's some interconnection between deck control and timeline is still not done, so I cannot interact between them while it's running. Later in the final version you can interact, so you can switch from timeline to deck without any issue and back to timeline, and can use all your controls of the controller. Yeah, actually it's not working. So what I can do, I see the light gray backgrounds, so I can use a hotkey or one of the buttons and just make a cut here and make a cut here, because the part in the middle, it's a vocal part and I don't want it to have in my intro, because I don't want to have vocals at the beginning of the song. So I just remove it and drag them together and I have a new song without the vocal. The point is that I can do all that stuff live and in real time, so I can show you. So wait, we're at that's what I mean with wait, I have to go to the beginning of the song because I clicked somewhere in the middle. Okay, now we're at the beginning of the song here too. Okay, let me stop this. Okay, show it the other way, show it this way. So, but anyway it's the same. I activate it and I get a red line. So I scroll in, go to the beginning, and here's my red line. And I do some live action just by cutting and re-editing some stuff, like removing a vocal part. Just click it, remove it, drag and drop it. My timeline is still a little bit away from me. There it comes. Yeah. And as it's a video, it's fully video compatible. You may see it jump because I did not preview it. Actually there is no preview, but there will be in the final version. Now it jumps to the new scene. You didn't see it really because of the fast movement. Okay, what could I else do? I can use another song or video on the second deck, because I have more than one. Okay, you see the graphics are missing, so I'll get an unsupported file format actually. Yeah, let me use this one because I have it here. So what I can do is I put it a little bit away because I'm still in live mode. I'm still working with the stuff. I cut it here, do it like that, drop it here, slice it a bit, hold in hotkey, it's the shift key in that case, and fade in, fade out a bit. And because I have different pitch from the first to the second track, I just synchronize the pitch with the yellow triangle, so it goes back from the mix point to its original pitch within the amount of 4 beats in that demo. So somewhere there is the red line coming, and now you see the fading. There is actually no video on the other, it's just audio, but as you can see, there it is back, because the timeline is running further and we're still on the old track at the bottom. So we would have the audio material of the first one too at that point, but it does not. The timeline does not record any tweaking in the audio. So you just have to move the faders yourself, because it's not a complete remixing thing. It's a live performance thing. So if you do some tweaking with the equalizer, you do tweaking, not the software. Yeah, that does not make sense. Then you can use any other kind of software for it, like Wavelab for cutting or re-editing. The nice part is you can re-edit your own videos. So if you have an MTV cut, you just drag it here, put the volume slider down, put the extended mix on the second deck, and just re-edit the video part so it fits to the audio, and in the final version you can export it to its own file. So I would say that should be enough for the preview, because that's the most important new things from version 8 alpha still. So if you already own a professional full version, so be happy because you get all the upgrade for free, like in all other pro full versions before. So stay tuned for version 8. It will take its time because we're still pre-beta, but it will be a great thing, and I hope it will be very, very stable when we release it. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching Digital DJ Tips preview, sneak preview of version 8 of Virtual DJ. Thank you, bye.